What's up? You're off in God's country with Reid
and Dan Isbell,
also known as the Brothers Hunt, where we take a weekly drive to the intersection of country music and the good old outdoors. Two things that go together like a family deer ham cook-off and a double uncle fist fight.
or Crawfish and cold beer. Produced by MeatEater and iHeart Podcast.
We're going to sit down with our good longtime buddy, Mr. Brent Cobb.
Long-haired buddy, too.
He's as country as cornbread, son.
I'm going to say he's got the longest hair of the podcast so far.
Maybe Tranny had got him a little bit.
I don't know. It's long.
But yeah, I mean, he's country. He's a good old boy. He's honest. You can hear it in his songs. You can hear it in his stories.
The whole town
he's
knows
as good
him.
as they come.
Whole town knows him. Whole town loves him. Just a great guy to be around. Great storyteller. I mean, legendary story.
Great songwriter. He's just a good old boy. And we'll think you enjoy this one. So stick around and hang out with us.
Morning beers.
Morning.
We do have a 9 o'clock beer in here.
Oh yeah,
I don't know if
morning.
we should recognize that.
Should we recognize
I don't want
that?
to put him in as a freaking 9 o'clock killer.
Oh, it don't bother me.
I mean,
We got a
my man's. We got
a Tuesday morning coming down beer.
Hey,
in here,
man.
dude. He got in at 2 o'clock this morning.
Didn't know if he
it
wanted
was a long day. It was an early morning, late night.
So what were you meaning? What were you saying? Like, was this our dream? What?
Oh yeah. So I just feel like this is something that y'all as brothers would have dreamed of, since you were kids. Kind of like me and Danny Boy, my cousin. We built this little radio station and pretended to be DJs on air. And
That's cool. That's awesome.
And one time I tricked him, and I had recorded on a cassette tape like our radio show, and I put it on in the living room. I put it in the tape deck in the living room player.
He was embarrassed.
Oh, no. I was like, I came in, I was like, Danny, we're actually on the air, man.
Nice.
We somehow
We made it.
we made it, man. Like that
discovered us,
contraption,
dude.
like it picked our airwaves up. And what do you call that? Our transmitter.
Yeah,
worked.
man.
And he came in and he was so excited. I really hated it. I don't know if I ever told him that we weren't really on air. He might,
Let him-
We probably just need to let him keep on believing that. Yeah.
we were really on air, Danny.
15 minutes of fame.
It was nice. Now look at us.
What y'all talk about? Did y'all talk about country music and stuff?
I don't know, man. I don't even know.
Yeah.
I'm going to say that we didn't necessarily have like this dream, obviously. This podcast didn't exist 30 years ago. But I can clearly remember telling my dad's dad, our Paul, that when he asked me what I was going to do for a living, I said, I'm going to sing Garth Brooks songs. Like, because that was the dude for us.
No doubt, man.
Commercially, like when I'm 40. I don't know how old you are, but
Right there. Well, I'm 37 or 8 or somewhere around there.
dude, when I was 9 years old or 8 years old, or whenever you really start like listening to radio or CMT or TNN, for me,
It just blows your mind, especially that era.
dude, he
of
come
it.
flying out of that stage in Central Park. You know,
He- I
6
mean-
o'clock Monday morning. I don't
Come
need
on,
a
man.
song,
I mean, country music
dude.
like played the Super Bowl in '92. It was all country music artists.
That's
Think
right.
about that.
That's
like,
right.
Like
I
Winona
remember that.
and,
Yeah.
Travis Tritt and all like they were. It was
Dang,
like
I
a
bet that
super.
was- I bet that was
concert.
dirty, man. Yeah.
I mean, that's how big that was. We all grew up with that. That's insane, man.
It's seeing it at 8 years old. You're seeing
Oh, I
those
was like, that's what I-
stadiums and him in the middle of them
Dude.
flying across the.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like what
I
in
didn't
the
even
world, man?
know that you could write songs, so I was like, well, I'll just
I'll just do that.
I'll just sing Garth Brooks songs.
Totally, man.
My pa was like, "Do what?" He didn't even know who Garth Brooks was then.
It was a big deal in our household too. In '92, it was like '92, the early '90s.
Yeah.
So my dad was playing then, and there was this place called the Silver Moon in Buena Vista, Georgia, and he and my brother's band, Uncle Bubba Cobb, they had a band
Uncle
called
Bubba?
Slaughter Creek.
I like Uncle
Danny
Bubba.
Boy,
a lot.
Bubba Cobb, man.
There's a bunch of us
There's
Cobbs,
a bunch of good ones.
There's a lot of y'all,
and
and you all dabble in music.
oh yeah,
Some of you go hard, like you. and
some
Dad.
go hard.
And
Yeah,
you're-
we all play though. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. That's got to be fun.
Well, yeah, man, that's that same time period, the height of country music, in that era.
Right.
Like my dad's band, my dad and his brother's band were open for George Jones. I met George
What was
Jones
their band?
in
Dang,
'92,
that's sick.
Slaughter Creek, which is the creek that we grew up on the backside of my.
Yeah, you've written. You
Yeah,
got some songs.
songs.
I mentioned a little Slaughter Creek.
Notice that. It looks like I need to book a ride with your wife because
she's
I
bad
like her
to
songs
bone,
the best
man.
on your record.
Lane is she's intelligent, way smarter than I am, and witty. She's a pharmacist by trade, but
Wow.
she
is smart.
she's just a really great. She's just got great instinct for writing. So she loves music. She's got great taste in music. And slowly, I think we're like she's becoming the songwriter. I'm becoming the pharmacist.
Nice.
Did y'all meet through music?
No, we've
Get you a little swig, dude.
we went to the same school. She's a couple years ahead of me, and we didn't really talk in school. But then I was playing in a band. I guess we did kind of meet through music because I was playing in a band, and she waited all night, and I would get sort of why I'm holding my guitar now and drinking a beer at 9 o'clock in the morning. I would get a little social anxiety, in the middle of like after the show, or in between sets, I'd go out to the parking lot and have a smoke and a beer or whatever. And one night she came out at the end of the night, and it was this gravel parking lot. Exactly the scene you would think. I'm propped up against the tailgate with my smoke, and Lane comes out and she goes, "So when are you gonna ask me to dance?" I was like,
"This is just like a movie."
I know, man. And I said,
"It's just like a song."
I was like, "I guess right now, yeah." And so, we started dating. It was Lane Littlejohn, which is a big deal where I'm from.
Why was it a big deal?
She was just like Miss Sly County, and but not. You wouldn't think that like she's not the kind of person that you think of when you think of Miss whatever county. She's pretty cool. I don't know. I remember my best friend when we were in 10th or 11th grade. He called me up after the last day of school. He lived down the street, and he's like, "Dude, you got to come down here right now, man." I went down there, and he was like, "Check this out." And it was Lane's senior picture that they had been in class together. And she's like, "Dylan, I enjoyed it so much." And we were like, "Holy shit."
And then you end up marrying
and I married
her
her and have kids and stuff. I know, it's amazing. It blows my mind.
So where exactly is your hometown?
It's Ellaville, Georgia, which is like America's it's southwest central Georgia, about 3 hours south of Atlanta, about an hour south of Macon, right around Plains, Georgia.
Country.
Ain't nothing going on around there.
Remember one of the first times I met Brent, my first pub deal in town was at Carnival Music, and Brent was already there, and we started hanging out and getting to know each other, and started writing a couple songs together. And one of the first times he was like, "Man, y'all got to come down to a family reunion."
You reminded me so much. Y'all both remind me so much of folks that my best friends, back
He
home.
said, I remember you saying, he's like, "Man, we all play music. We just sit around on the porch and we grilling food, smoking food, frying food, and playing guitars." He said, and then my uncles start fist fighting over here.
That was the deer ham cook-off I was telling you about. That's right.
Before we get into the deer ham cook-off, which I can't wait to, those sultry tones you hear, those sultry Georgia tones you hear,
Sultry.
are coming from the mouth of a curly-haired Georgian song artiste, just a crafter of words and melodies.
Grammy nominated for debut album. Grammy nominated.
9 o'clock beer drinking Brent Cobb.
Brent
Top of the morning.
Listen, I'll be honest. If my mother didn't watch this on YouTube, and my grandmother,
Oh, understood. Sorry, Mama.
Did she watch the YouTube?
Grandma. Well, I'm talking about your mama.
Oh yeah, she's all right.
She'll be all right.
She don't care
as long as it ain't you.
As long as it ain't me.
I don't like you hanging out with that Brent Cobb boy.
I never had
influence.
I've actually never drank a beer or smoked a cigarette, or
you didn't.
I haven't to this day.
Still haven't. A beer either? You don't drink beer?
You ever lied either? You ever lied?
Just
never have lied.
Just a clean old.
Yeah.
Never played a joint in my life.
Yeah,
it's always bar
I've
and
never
grills.
seen you do any of that or heard you. I've
Bar
never.
and grills is what I play.
Even when you said motherfucker a second ago, I've never heard you cuss.
No, didn't. No.
Wait, get into this deer ham cook-off. Come on.
Yeah, please shut up.
And enough about me.
Enough about you.
Oh, I snorted this morning. So
great content, though. It's great content.
And
this is where they'll cut the thing and it'll go bang, and then the God's Country thing. It'll be a Instagram
honestly,
thing.
that's the hardest I've heard Grace laugh since we've had this podcast. So you
but
win.
The
You're
trouble
winning.
is you can't tell if it's at you or with you,
Yeah.
And
you just gotta roll with it.
I've just been that way my whole life. So
Deer
That's
cook-off.
my lot in life. All right.
It was one of the first conversations that I think the three of us ever had. Me and Reid were riding with somebody. It wasn't with him. He came into the ride.
I crashed.
Oh, did you?
Semi-intoxicated.
I was like, this song, man, y'all need to do this and that.
You
know.
actually
did that.
no, we played it for him, and he goes, "Dude, that's that shit, dude. That's great." I was like, "I think he's drunk." 'Cause this
No,
isn't that good.
if I said that, I meant that.
You did say that,
But the year was 1989.
it wasn't. Because if that was the case, I'd have been 6.
I'm
and
talking
you'd have
about
been about
deer
4.
ham cooking.
Oh, deer ham. Let's go.
And my uncle Glenn Cobb, he was a young man, and he and his buddies got to bragging one day about who could cook the best version of deer, and so they all decided that they would have a competition. And so the first one was like 5, 6, 7, 8 bros hanging out and drinking, just an excuse to drink beer.
Oh, yeah,
and the first year was like 2 years was like you could cook any kind of venison, chili. You'd have chili up against
backstrap.
all the things.
Right.
And so then it evolved into what it is now. And now, yes, it's everything I told you about. We just do it every year, the day after Thanksgiving, at this little building that was this boating house from way back on this little plot of land that my great granddaddy bought.
Gosh.
And we just set up on the back porch and set up the old PA system and have a little fire. And now, there's like 36 cookers, 40 cookers some years. And
40 cookers.
Cole Swindell came out one year. And
That's awesome.
it's just a local hangout.
Man,
I shouldn't be talking about it. It's kind of gotten too big, really, the last couple of years. We got to do something about it.
What's the best venison you've ever had from there? And
Well, now it's just ham. So I don't know. Mine is always real good.
So
So
what do you do?
I can't
What do
tell
you do?
Well, so it's got to be bone in.
Okay.
You gotta.
So there's rules
You can
to
only
this.
wrap it in something edible, like bacon.
So now it's just a ham cook-off.
Right.
Okay.
And that's deer ham cook-off.
Yeah.
And then,
I didn't know where it evolved to.
and you got to cook it over, like an open wood charcoal. You can't cook it over. You can't do it on a Traeger.
Right.
Okay,
A
so it's got to be
rectangle.
open fire, coal fire, wood
coal
fire.
That's right.
So you're essentially either smoking or grilling
Correct.
40 hams.
Mm-hmm.
And then who's the judges? of this thing?
So everybody buys in, and then you have.
It's a buy-in?
Mhm.
So there's like a grand prize, like a pool.
Oh yeah, man.
Dude,
40.
how far is it from here? I might have to.
Man, you got to come down. It's
I know.
in
That's
Richland, Georgia.
some change right there.
Dude, I would just
It's my
like-
favorite day of the year, deer cook-off day.
Yeah,
And,
that's awesome. That's awesome.
And man, I wish y'all would come down. I mean it then. I mean it now.
So there are 40 let's say 40 cookers. It's all deer hams. It's all wrapped in something edible. You buy in. Who judges it?
That varies.
Okay.
It's usually like people who are not from there. Like, you'll just have so-and-so families Thanksgiving. So you'll have people from out of town come in, and you pick people who really, you want it to be people who've never had venison, never had deer ham.
Oh, yeah. I clear clean palate.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I
Oh,
can see
yeah,
that.
and we serve wine with judges to cleanse their palates.
That gets
This
judged.
is
Does the
legit.
wine get judged?
No,
Oh, it's like a little homemade,
Get the wine, you might get judged.
Yeah, I feel that. Depending on how much.
I would venture
You
to
ever
say
won
there
it?
probably ain't too much
I
judging.
think I only got third place, the closest I ever got.
Okay. Who usually is there like a
Is there
two-time
like a-
winner?
the
Yeah,
guy?
the goat.
Oh, Casey Spence has won so many times, and that Joker, he's up to something. I don't
No
know.
secrets, no ideas like how he prepares it or how.
I don't know. Clay Barrett won a few times in a row. Man, I don't know. I try to. Man, I follow the rules.
Oh, you think there's a little foul play going
I
on?
don't cheat.
Sure, I know
I'm
you
saying,
don't.
I'm not a cheater, man.
No, man. You say on your record that you are. You still got some left to do, but I know what you meant when you said that.
When it comes to the deer ham cook-off,
Oh,
and my wife,
Okay.
and,
Yeah,
But
I'm not-
everything else is
but everything else fair
still on
game.
the table.
No, I didn't write that song. That's the only song I didn't write.
You didn't?
On that album. Well, maybe. No, I didn't write that one, but there might be a few more I didn't write.
It's a good segue into something I wanted to get into. So I've got to confess, I'm feeling a little sluggish this morning. So
Lord.
last night, around midnight, I don't even know if my wife knows this. I was about to put the dogs up. We had just watched a final episode of The Sinner, which is like a murder documentary. I was kind of wired. I was checking right before I went to bed to see if I was going to let my dog sleep outside, if it wasn't going to rain.
Yep.
It was going to rain. Remembered that I fished yesterday afternoon with my pops. He's probably getting mad at me saying that. I fished yesterday afternoon with my dad.
Yeah, our dad doesn't like to be called Pops. For some
My
reason.
dad don't like to be called Dad. Daddy only.
Daddy only.
I like
Yeah.
that though.
Yeah.
I'm with that. I may actually instill that in my kids. Don't call me dad.
Dad.
You
Yeah.
better never call me Dad,
Don't you call
son.
me dad.
Dude, my 2-year-old called me dad the other day. I was like, nah, it's dad.
You call,
or daddy.
you
That's-
call me
that's-
Dad, I won't be your daddy no more.
That's right. So anyway, I was like, man, my boat was out in the driveway. It's going to rain. All my tackle, my rods. Go out there, get all that stuff, put it up, put the dogs up. Come inside. I'm like, man, I'm a little hungry. A little midnight before pre-bed snack. I look in the cabinet and we have these. It's like strawberry chocolate covered pretzels from Costco, and they are
Oh,
gas,
Lord.
dude. So polish that bag off. May have been 3, 10, 12 in there. I just ate the rest of them. And I was like, man, I crave milk at night. So I was like,
Same.
man, I kind of want a little glass of milk. I was like, but I'm kind of still hungry. I'm digging through the cabinet, through all the bags of chips that are 95% eaten in the back that won't get thrown away to 3 years. And I find,
stale out back there.
yeah, and I find they're all crumpled up and rolled up. But I find some Honey Bunch of Oats.
Oh,
Pour me a
gosh.
little midnight cereal
So
in a
good,
coffee
man.
glass. I feel like cereal's better out of a big coffee glass.
Same. This
I
is
know,
why.
dude. I know.
We're all brothers.
So this morning I woke up and I'm coming to town. I'm like, bro, I don't feel too good. And I was like, what did I eat last night? And then I thought about all that. And then literally my dad calls me and he's like, we were talking. He's like, hey, I got a confession. I was like, what's up? And he's like, about 9 o'clock last night after I cleaned them fish, he's like, I may have fried me a few fillets, cut some chips off the back of the ribs and had him some, he's like, I'm not feeling too hot. And I was like, what is it about dudes that have to get in that? Because I was like, is that what you had for dinner? He's like, no, I had dinner. He's like, I just wanted me a little before bed snack.
There ain't nothing like it.
What is yours?
Yeah.
Is it a go-to or is it just what you can get your hands on?
Well, I mean, if you're talking about frying up some late night fish, it's going to be late night
Yeah, no
fish.
doubt,
you
no
know?
doubt, yeah.
With some lemon and salt and pepper.
Feel that. Yeah.
But, and a little onion and pickle on the side. But,
Yeah, I mean,
That's fine.
if I'm frying up
but
fish,
then
yeah.
I'm still going to have a little cup of cereal after that, too, for the, salty and sweet. And my go-to
be
is
nice.
that cranberry almond crunch. Man, have y'all ever had that?
Cranberry almond crunch sounds amazing.
My
does
Lord
sound weird.
Jesus. It's kind of like Honey Bunches of Oats, except better.
A little cranberry in
It's
there.
so good, man. You throw
The cereal to me, it's Honey Bunches of Oats. But I
One
doctor
time,
mine. I
just try
doctor
it.
mine a bit.
now I gotta know.
I got to slice up a banana, get that in there.
Yeah, I'm with
I
that.
got to do at least a handful and a half of blueberries.
Oh man.
And then if I got some blackberries in there, I'll throw them
Oh,
in
whatever
there.
you got.
It's kind of
So it's just kind of like whatever
I'm a
you got.
fruit guy late at night. Like last night I walked in there.
You can make it like a little cereal stew.
Come on, man. You don't eat no Reese's if they're sitting there
No.
right before bed?
I
really?
don't. No.
You'll grab a banana. Like if there's
No,
an
not a
apple,
banana,
there's
not
an
a banana.
apple and a Reese's. You're
Cheyenne
going to
always
get the
gets
apple. That's crazy.
the fruit bowls. Like it's got, and no, it'll be like mixed fruit in a bowl, like whole fruit. you
Oh,
know?
yeah.
And I'll walk in there and just knock the pine.
I mean, I
out,
will
dude.
do that same thing.
I
Put,
think it's the hydrate. Like there's like a,
Mhm.
you know what I mean?
I
It's
do
not
know
a dry. I don't want a
exactly.
dry thing.
My wife brought in some. She had bought some watermelon the other day,
Come on.
and I didn't know. I hadn't had any. And I walked in. It was all gone.
Yeah.
I mean, it don't take long. I'm the same way, man. I'll wear it out.
I love a piece of fruit. For
I'm
sure.
a cantaloupe guy.
I love all that.
Yeah, like if there's a
See,
bowl
I
of
like
cantaloupe, I'll
cantaloupe,
smash
but like
cantaloupe.
I'm not going out of my way to eat cantaloupe.
Really?
Yeah.
If
I'll
you
eat it
got-
first. I'll eat it
Really?
first. I'll get
I'm a
sick on
honey
cantaloupe.
dude. I'm more of a honey dude.
What?
dude,
No one's a
because
honeydew. You're not.
I am. Yeah.
You just haven't had enough fruit. There's no way honeydew wins.
That boy just ain't never had enough fruit.
There's no
Okay, but
way.
we are in agreement that there is a thing where dudes want to eat something before like late.
I guess so.
I mean, I'm trying to not do that right
or
now.
go to-
No, I know. I think we all do, but
I
it's
think
just,
that is an issue. But I think everybody, it's not just dudes. It's got to be everybody. My wife will, a lot of times she won't do anything. She won't eat anything right before bed. She'll go to bed and then wake up about 2 in the morning.
go
and
way.
go
Grub a
to town
little
on
bit.
it. Yeah.
See,
Like she won't eat supper, or anything.
Oh,
She'll
yeah.
be like all of us trying to do right. And but then that 2 o'clock hunger hits.
Like craving.
Yeah, baby.
My wife takes Nutella and gets strawberry Nutella before bed every night.
I've never even had Nutella. I should try it.
No, you
Well, I
shouldn't.
shouldn't try.
No, sir, you shouldn't.
There might be a bag of Nutella crackers that
Is it
were
Nutella or Nutella?
Nutella.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Tomato.
Banana.
I think
you
you're
know?
saying Nutella, right? You're going with
I'm just saying Nutella. Is it Nutella?
I guess you don't say it's called like I'm a newt.
Okay, we had the same.
Yeah,
We had the
Nutella.
same
That's a good
discussion the other night. They got on me for saying Vienna sausage.
My son got on me for this the other day.
Okay, so what do you say?
Vienna sausages.
So you call them Vienna.
What'd you say?
Vienna.
Vienna. Oh.
Like
I put a
hyena.
little
Some say
flair on it.
Vienna sausages.
I put a little flair on
I
it
see
to
that.
make it sound fancy.
Vienna sausage. Well, we got Vienna, Georgia, which is right down the road.
Oh, so that's influential. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
I get that. See, for me, it's
Do
like
they come there? Do they come from there?
No.
I was about to say, then that's the
Oh,
pronunciation.
dude, they come from France. Remember?
But it
From
would make,
the streets
My
of
God.
streets of water.
It would make sense though if they did because they got the big pig jig down there in Vienna, Georgia. You know about
Big
that? Man, it was a
pig
big
jig.
deal.
Y'all are all about some random ass festivals.
We
down
really
there.
are.
It's cool.
There ain't nothing else going on.
Yeah, it's true.
You got to do something.
Who plays the big pig?
Man, back in the day, I mean, Rhett Akins
Really?
headlined it, in the 90s, and my
So nobody
dad's band
good,
played
but-
there. And yeah, nobody's real worth a damn. But it was a big deal in the 90s.
Yeah.
My dad and them beat out Myron Mixon, who's, if you've never had his mustard-based sauce, is kind of world famous. So
I
good.
ain't never had it.
But it really is like a famous
Really?
sauce, yeah. And y'all look it up. You're like, oh, damn, Brent wasn't making it up. But
I don't know, man.
my dad's barbecue team in 94, the Midnight Smokers.
Your dad has great names for everything he's a part of.
I know, man. They're cool. They were, way cooler than us.
His
Oh,
band
that
is
ain't,
cool.
that ain't no doubt. Yeah.
His smokers are cool. I mean, he's got names for his barbecue team. Dude, he sounds like a hell of a guy.
Pretty cool.
Seems like y'all love down there cooking, country music, and some hunting.
It's all the normal, yeah. I mean, it's
Country
Yeah.
lifestyle.
It is. Go to the Kinchifuni Wildlife Club on a Thursday night, play some Texas Hold'em and talk about getting in a dope line
Heck yeah.
while you're eating barbecue
Oof.
made by the Midnight Smokers.
Midnight
Did you
Smoke.
just describe it to me right there? Is it weird that I got bumps from you saying
Oh,
that,
my
dude? I got
God,
chill
man.
bumps from that.
That's who it is. You remind me of Sean Radford. That's what I've
You
always
tell me
I told
every
you.
time.
Every
Or,
time.
well, not every time, but every time I hadn't seen you in a long time, you go, man,
Yeah.
you remind me
You
of this
really
guy.
do, man. That's what I meant back in them days. Yeah, I love y'all.
Hey, I love
too,
you, bro.
man. I bet
Thanks for
he's
coming on, man.
amazing.
You literally were one of the when we were trying to figure out guests. I was like, dude, we gotta get Brent.
Thank y'all.
We gotta
for
get Brent
having
on,
me,
man. We gotta get. And I think I just seen you out on the road with Luke out there,
Yeah.
and it's always good to catch up, like because we don't see each other a lot, but when we do, it's good to catch up and see what you got going on.
You were
Yeah.
talking about there's a line in your song. You're talking about down home. This is what y'all do, and it wasn't even that song. But there, I was listening to the new record on the way in. You talk about being springtime, and the crawfish will bite anything you throw in the
Yeah.
hole.
Mhm.
I got some questions about that.
Okay.
So, is that line? Are you catching the actual crawfish on a bait, or are you using a bait for Are you using a crawfish for bait
We
or fish?
No. We're doing crawfish. Like we would make, crawfish baskets,
Yeah.
and then you can put anything, don't matter if it's neck bone or
Where are you dropping
Yeah.
those baskets at?
in Slaughter Creek or in the creek. You drop it off the bridge.
So you're catching enough crawfish to eat out of a creek.
Oh yeah.
Okay, that's interesting to me because everything I've ever seen about crawfish has always been, of course, Tennessee crawfish. I mean, you're not getting eaters.
I
you know.
can't. Yeah, I can't imagine up here.
Right.
Yeah.
They're all. I mean, you catch one as long as your finger. That's a hammer.
Yeah.
You know? You're not
Totally.
eating
No,
those.
back home. I mean, I would say we're small batch
Sure.
crawfish. we would boil them right there though. Like we'd catch a little mess of them, and then throw them in and throw some
So how many
crab
people?
boil on it.
How many people would you feed?
Just the crew. I mean, maybe 15, 20 at the most people.
Oh, that's a lot more than I thought you were going to
So
say.
you're catching what? How many? I mean, you're probably catching.
So on a good night, I mean, we've caught a couple of hundred, you know.
Yeah.
But
Jeez.
typically, I don't even know now. It's been so long. But back then, I mean, I don't know. You might catch 50 or something in a night.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And they're going straight from there into the hot water. Like they're boiling.
Throw them in a cooler first, you know, until we got enough. Yeah, throw them in.
Dude, that's
And you just got the
red
crab boil.
stuff right there. I
There
love
ain't
really
nothing
crab
better
boil.
though, dude, than a dang
Right
crawfish
there.
boil.
Come on, man.
Yeah, but that feels like what
With that-
he's doing feels like free range crawfish as opposed to
Oh no, absolutely.
to pond crawfish.
Oh, is that what most people are doing?
No, well, most people are doing that, but they're doing it on crawfish farms, right? So
I don't even know.
the way they do it, the way that you market sell crawfish usually is
Sorry, guys.
no, you're fine. Is they'll set up like fields, almost like rice bran kind of fields you would do for ducks.
Crawfish
I
farms.
didn't even know. I'm learning this.
Yeah,
right
and then
now.
what would be
I just thought that like the creeks were just like loaded down.
He's making it. He's just making
well,
it
they
up as he
were
goes.
until you ate all the.
Oh
all
man, I just thought. Well, I thought like 50 crawfish was just. I was just thought Louisiana was just like smoking it. Like I thought you couldn't even swim in the creeks down there. 'Cause it's just so
you could
many
put your foot down there.
Just-
and
Yeah,
step
man.
all
It was just like the
I
flow.
mean, I think they
was-
do catch them out of sloughs. There are sloughs they catch them out of, like you're talking about.
Yeah.
But I think the mass marketing is farming for them, which is it's not as gross as like catfish farming. I mean, they're still crawling around,
Right.
like
Well,
buttholes and
I
doing
wonder
things.
though. Yeah, I've never considered this, but I do wonder what the flavor profile would be
That's what I'm
in
saying.
comparison. Like when you catch a creek brim compared to a
Yeah,
pond brim.
no
Like a
doubt.
creek brim
Different.
is just so good compared
Ooh, come
to
on, man.
to an old dumb lazy pond brim. But I like them too,
Same.
especially late night. Oops, sorry.
Man, I'll tell you this.
Producer.
When it comes to fried fish,
Mm.
okay, let me back up. When it comes to fried freshwater fish, there is a fish called a sauger and a walleye that I'll take. Sauger's a cousin to a walleye, but
Southern cousin.
I'll
Yeah.
take those over everything.
Mm.
But next in line is brim for me.
Dude,
I mean, I'm so to the point
red
now
belly,
where,
yellow belly.
Oh,
Oh my god, man,
dude.
red belly.
and we fillet them too. I mean, we'll fillet them down to the bone and just,
Oh yeah.
dude.
During 2020, we we're all stuck at the house, and which was amazing for me. We lived off the Lake Blackshear. I know it's like you can't talk about that year, but whatever. Anyway, we
Why
lived
can't
off.
you talk about that?
I don't know. Some people probably didn't have it as good, but we had.
No,
Oh,
I'm
no,
the same with
we
you.
have this conversation a lot.
Yeah.
And so we lived off Lake Blackshear, which is a freshwater lake back home off the Flint River. And we lived at the end of this little bitty tiny slough. My wife bought this place when she graduated from pharmacy school in 2008 or so. And then when we relocated back to Georgia, we weren't able to sell it all those years. That's where we moved to in 2018. Anyway, 2020
You
hit.
got a sugar mama? It sounds like you got a sugar
I
mama.
did for a minute, but now I'm a sugar daddy.
Hey, pour it on me.
Sorry, daggum, I should probably put this guitar on.
No, dude, it's your
You're
thing.
too late
And,
now. You
it's your
already-
thing.
Well, and so
You're holding on to it like I'm gonna steal it from you, though. That's
you better never.
I ain't even looking at it, dude.
Don't even look at this.
Lane hadn't practiced pharmacy since Tuck was born in 2019, but she keeps that license renewed just
Yeah,
in
but
case.
Just in case.
And anyhow, so I discovered that year.
In case people start hating your music.
Yeah, well, they never have loved it very much. And
I love it, Brent. I love it.
that's all that matters. You know? And so I started, like old school cane pole fishing in the end of our little slough, and it's a runoff from all these little creeks and it goes into the lake. And there's one little spot under a tree. And I swear to goodness, I went like old school, went and got some crickets.
Oh, baby,
that's all we
a little
fit.
basket of
it's all
crickets.
dirty to me, man.
Don't tell our secrets, bro.
I know.
Don't tell our
And
secrets.
I would just drop it in there, and every time I drop it in, a little brim, little brim. And this whole time, since 2008, I had access to that honey hole, and I never knew until that year. And man, we ate so much brim 2020. That's pretty much what we lived off of.
We have this debate all the time about COVID, right? Because everybody that lived in the city, which was 80% of the people we know,
that would have been
were
miserable.
stuck.
Oh my!
But
goodness.
we were like,
this is amazing.
every day.
We don't have to go anywhere.
Yeah, we ain't got to leave my house. Dude.
You mean I could just hop on the internet at 11 and like? I mean, I don't even have to put. I didn't put pants on. For
Everybody
2
wanted
years.
to be done because sitting on a computer, none of us like to do that.
No,
That's why we're trying to write songs and are creatives. But so everybody wanted
We
to
should
be.
talk about that. We should talk about the writing process during COVID because we all know how it went, but the listeners don't. I mean, you had to. Normally, we come in and write at a scheduled appointment in town, but since nobody could congregate,
Well, there was we all had 3 months off where
Right.
we were trying to figure it out.
those are great months too.
Because nobody, well, that was
So
turkey.
nice.
I mean, because it happened in March.
And
The first month off was turkey season, bro.
And you were like, oh, this
Oh,
is
dude.
this is sad.
Oh man, you mean
I
we
was like,
can't
I
get
hate
together?
not being able to go to work on turkey
Well,
season. But so there was 3 months of nothing. And then people were like, all right, we got to start writing some songs, but we still can't meet together. And so Zoom became a thing.
Mhm.
And then
But honestly, there for a while,
Nobody-
there for a year
yeah.
was like 1 or 2 a week. It
Yeah.
wasn't like every day.
I was
was
more
wild,
productive that way. A lot of folks didn't like it, but I've been trying to talk my carnival into y'all. I live in Georgia. It's the future, and I do not have to come to town.
Agreed.
Especially I've been on the road because I
Oh,
tour also,
man.
and so I got kids, and I don't want to really be gone.
Young
Anyway,
kids too.
Yeah, especially at that time because Tuck was a year old, and Lila was 5 and or 6, 7. I don't know.
Is that when she developed her love for fishing?
I don't know if she's developed a love for it, but
Okay.
she loved it that year. She loved chasing the crickets down,
Yeah, that's
it's
fun.
fun.
and but man, I still try to Zoom right, and nobody wants to Zoom right
We do.
anymore.
Say,
Can we
Really?
tag
I
in?
Zoom
All
wrote
that.
yesterday morning.
Come on, baby.
If we can tag in, dude, I would love to.
I never want to, except today, be here in person.
But you didn't drive up just for this, right?
No, I got
Okay, good. Good.
Please don't.
Because we could have zoomed this.
Yeah. No, we couldn't have.
No,
Now
we
he's
couldn't.
never going to come
We just
back.
set a computer right here.
I'm glad to be here in person on this.
Let's talk about your move home, man.
Mhm.
What? Because in 2000, when was it? 6, 8 is when.
It all started.
Yeah. Tell the funeral story about with Dave.
Okay, my great aunt Christine had passed away, and I was
R.I.P.
God bless your soul.
Yeah, absolutely.
Aunt Christine, man, she was something. She passed away, and I had to be a pallbearer in her funeral. And at this funeral, we heard that we had this cousin of ours that was going to show up. That was a producer in L.A., and we're all musical, as we've talked about.
Yeah.
And so we're all kind of skeptical, like this big time L.A. Who's he think he is coming back down here
Georgia,
to Richland,
Yeah.
What had he done up to that point?
Not a whole lot,
Okay.
and nothing that I knew of. And
dude,
which is also funny.
Yeah, it's great.
Anybody in your family that's ever in Nashville or New York
It's a
or
thing.
LA, you're just like, oh
Yeah.
my God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so the funeral gets over, and we're all hanging out in the yard, and he in the churchyard,
That's great. It's great.
and
I know exactly what you're talking about.
you know what I'm talking
I
about?
do.
Under the
We just
pecan
did, yeah, we
trees.
just
We
did it.
just did it last
And
week.
oh, sorry, yeah,
Oh, it's all good.
yeah. And anyway, so we're all standing around, and I'm 18 or so, and I'm like, hey man, I hear you're a big time LA record producer.
Yeah.
What have you produced? And he started naming a few things. And he said, Shooter Jennings Put the O Back in Country, that album. I don't know if y'all ever listened to it, but for me, man, that's all we've been listening to. And it kind of was like, holy shit. And I remember looking at the back of that album when it came out and reading Dave Cobb, but it seemed so distant.
Yeah, you
that
never
just
put
like,
it together.
There's no way we're related, but how cool is that? And it was this dude. And so it kind of blew my mind. And then my daddy and grandma were like, man, you should give him a little CD. I had just come.
So you're already writing music and had at least had something to give him.
Well, I had just come up to town a year earlier here to Franklin, where my mom's brother, my Uncle Dave,
Dude.
had
How much family do you have?
so
man?
much, man.
They're spread across the. You've
It's
already
true.
covered the entire country, from LA to
I know.
Georgia.
He was generous enough to record a little acoustic demo of these songs I've been writing. It's like 6 songs. They tried to get me to give it to Dave. I didn't want to be that dude. My grandma and my dad are shameless. And so after his grandmother's funeral,
Brent, you need this is your shot.
They gave him, they gave him the deal. And I guess he reluctantly listened on his ride to the airport.
That's awesome.
And that's how it all,
They got you out to LA.
Got out to LA.
I bet you love that. You sleep.
How long did you live in LA?
No. Yeah.
Did you stay in LA?
I went back and forth for a year and a half. And because I didn't want to move out there. And then I only lived there for about 5 months. And there was an earthquake.
While you were there?
Dude tried to carjack me.
Oh, nice.
There was a drive-by shooting, and it only rained one time. And so
not the place for Brent Cobb.
I got out. And I had met Luke Bryan during going back and forth because I was playing in a band back home. And he had invited me to come here. And let's see, like all my friends say had just come out.
Jam.
And so,
talked about that song yesterday.
Yeah, man.
That's a jam.
It's so good.
Yes, so good.
And he's from Leesburg, which is 30 minutes down the road from where I'm from.
Yeah, he talks about the Flint River and stuff like that.
That's right.
Yeah.
And so we had opened some shows for him. I had given him that album that Dave and Shooter we made in LA.
No Place Like Home. Or
No Place Left to Leave.
Left to Leave, that's right.
No Place Like Home.
Something like that.
That's like every other album.
Yeah,
right. and so, he had invited me here. I felt like I needed to move to LA. I stayed with Luke for a week before I actually moved out to LA.
Okay.
And he took me around to, Music Row. I wrote with Jay Knowles and Luke. This is my first co-write ever. I was scared to death.
I bet.
And I'm still scared to death. When I was sitting with you and Combs the other night, man, I just get freaked out in a moment that might change my life. I can never muster it up. Anyway, I haven't changed is what I'm saying. And
not true. That's not true.
Anyway, and so, I moved out there. All that happened. Came back, Georgia. Lived in Georgia again for about 4 months. And then Luke Brown was like, hey, are you ever going to move up here? And so I moved up.
Wow, that was good. That was a real
In
good impression right there. It was like one little half.
How are you ever going to?
Yeah, good. Real good. So you moved?
I moved here March of 2008.
And Dave was like, hey, I'll keep working with you. And
Dave stayed in LA. And a Rowdy had started playing, he played guitar on that first album. He started playing with Jamey Johnson during Jamey's, In Color days. And so Rowdy had moved out here. He was like my brother. That's who I'd stay with him.
Okay.
On his couch when I'd go out to LA, and he kind of taught me. He was like 10 years older than me, and been out of the hills of North Carolina for a little while. And so I knew him when I came out here. But yeah, Dave and everybody else stayed out yonder. Dave started coming here, I think, in like 2010 or 11. And
yeah, it's perfect. I mean, perfect for what you were doing,
Yeah, I remember trying to get when I first, we're hanging out with folks on Music Road that were paying me. I was like, man, I'm telling you, I got this cousin. He's
gonna pop.
Yeah, he's a great producer. And everybody's like, oh, okay, your cousin.
Everybody, cousin.
Yeah, and I was like, I swear, man. And
no, Dan Huff's your guy. Dan Huff's your guy.
Totally. But you know how that goes.
I absolutely know how that goes.
And I just could not make anybody believe who had money to afford for me to record, because I didn't have any money to invest in me working with this cousin of mine who didn't live in town. And
that's a hard sell right there.
Yeah.
Probably not now, but at the time that was a hard sell. Yeah.
That was Dave. Man, he's funny. I don't know.
He's probably what?
Nothing.
Did that spawn the what was it, the photo developer at Walgreens?
Oh yeah. See, I moved here in March of 2008, and my uncle is a Navy guy,
What do you know?
And
One of the 1,000 uncles you have?
which is the David Rigney, my mama's brother, who made that first 6-song acoustic demo, lives down in Franklin.
Okay, same guy.
Yeah, he retired from the Navy, and so he's real, like, Navy guy, old Navy guy.
Yeah.
Wait, old Navy guy? Because an old Navy guy is just a guy that wears like a flag T-shirt with blue jean shorts that shops at Old Navy, or a Navy guy.
He's a Navy guy.
Oh,
Okay.
Nice. He's an older guy who
See what he
served
did
in
there?
the
Yeah,
Navy.
we all saw.
He's for
that's
cheap
good.
goods from
I like
Bangladesh.
He was pretty, just like to do things by the book.
Yeah.
And so I wanted to get the hell out of their house as fast as I could and make him proud. And so,
And get the hell out of their house.
and make him proud.
Yeah.
I loved staying there. I'd still live there.
Really?
man. Yeah.
Wow.
And no, thanks, Uncle Dave, Aunt Becky.
Shout out.
Shout out. And anyway, so I got a job at Walgreens
Hell
the
yeah.
second day I was in town, and I was developing pictures, and yeah, I mean it was just
Were you like red light developing pictures?
no,
Was it anything
they
like that?
had machines.
Oh, okay.
you
Okay.
know.
Let's
Okay.
be honest though, living with anybody is hard to do. Like, even like living with my wife is hard to do.
Yeah, can you
I
imagine a
love
Navy
living
vet?
with my
That's-
wife. I don't know.
Same. I love living with my wife.
I
A whole lot.
it's funny, man. It
Don't
is.
you read?
Absolutely.
Why'd you look at her?
I love living in the same house as her.
Yeah, same.
I really do, but it is hard living with folks, especially when you feel like you're a burden. You
are.
Yeah.
I mean, whether you want to be or not,
Uh-huh.
like
Yeah.
you are. You're an
You-
extra
you-
seat at the table. You
Totally.
know? And
Yeah.
I mean, you feel weird
And-
even walking around at night.
And when you're young, you don't really know. Like I'd do dumb stuff. Like
Same.
I'd make some coffee and leave a spoon, like the coffee spoon, on the side of the sink. I just didn't think about it because I was a kid. You know,
yeah,
That didn't go well in the
Did not
Navy.
go well.
Navy's in the old Navy's house.
Not at all. And so I don't do that anymore.
I saw you were on tour with Jamey Johnson for a while. I guess in that heyday.
Yep.
I have heard the argument, and I can't speak to it because I don't know Jamey, right?
Mhm.
I mean, I obviously know who he is, but I've never like spent time around him. That he is arguably the greatest vocalist to have ever come through Nashville. I have heard that argument. Like I'm talking about over Haggard, over Jones, over Stapleton, like over you. Where does he rank in your, I don't know, top 5 of vocalists
Oh man,
in the town?
that's just unfair. I don't know, man. Jamey, there's no one else who sounds like Jamey. That's for sure. And he can make any song sound like a Jamey Johnson song.
Really?
I don't know if I could rate it. Like I don't really. Everybody's so apples to oranges, you know. Really, to me, and that's not just me being diplomatic. It's
Yeah.
just that's a hard thing to say. But Jamey is definitely one of the greatest vocalists.
Was he? I think everybody kind of knows about the fallout. You know that kind of went down, at least in town. Were you going through that? Was he drinking heavily when you were out there with him?
I don't know if I should tell this story. I'm gonna tell it, but yeah, these were the days.
Yeah, right. Those were the days. I mean, was that
2010
2010 or
would say
2012?
2000. I mean 7, 8, 9, 10.
Oh,
I mean
okay.
it was.
The days.
He'd walk around with a cup, you know, all day long. When we did that Willie Nelson Country Throwdown tour, yeah, he would all day long. He'd just walk around with. I wish I could say all that was. I don't know if I feel comfortable saying.
Yeah, don't say anything
that
you
was-
don't
Were you
want to.
crawfishing out of the story you were about to tell?
Yeah, I suppose.
Man, I was looking forward to that.
I
Okay.
want to
It's
tell
okay
it,
if you don't want
but
to.
I don't feel like it's my place to.
No.
Jamey's been good to me. My wife,
He is.
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
great.
my wife swears he can bust beer bottles with his eyes.
I love that.
Wow.
One time we did this tour. I had known Jamey again. We first met in L.A. in probably 2007. He was recording with Dave at Ocean Way, and they were recording that "You Can't Cash My Checks,"
Uh-huh.
and I was like, "Damn,"
Yeah.
you know, Jamey Johnson. And anyway, fast forward 10 years, and we're on the Road to Stagecoach tour, and my wife had come out, and she flies into Vegas, and we're in this rental car, and we pull up to the venue, and Jamey walks over to her side of the door, and she's had just gotten a beer. And right when he walks over, he just stares. He doesn't say anything. And her beer bottle just
Really?
busts right there. Well, what's crazy about this is that's funny and all. Well, then a couple years later, this is, I don't know if I should tell all this. I have to, though, because it's amazing. Yeah, I'm in it. And a couple years later, Adam Hood and Jamey have this hilarious history that they're both from Alabama, about the same age, came up in the same time. But for some reason, Jamey, every time Adam is around Jamey just, it's like the first time they ever met. And so I love giving Adam a hard time about that. That's awesome. And
do you think Jamey's doing it on purpose?
I don't know. And
like he just did it one time. Right. It's great, especially if nobody knows it's happening except those two and you. It's great.
Well, Hood's, my brother, but he's so all this has happened a couple years before, and then in 2018 or 19, Hood and Alex Williams are writing over at Warner Chapel, and they're in the coffee room. Alex, a big Jamey fan. They're just talking about Jamey, and Adam is explaining what I just said about their dynamic. Yeah. And I swear that if you talk about Jamey, he'll show up. Like a Joker hears you. He's omnipresent. And so
you said this?
I say my wife says this that he can explode beer bottles and he's omnipresent.
Jamey Johnson and Jesus.
And so no doubt. And so
the door right
Joker would be here.
He did look at the door when he said
and so and they just got done talking and go to walk out and go back in the right room. In walks Jamey. And Alex is kind of starstruck because he's such a fan of Jamey. And his coffee cup just way. And Adam Hood was like, Jamey, hey man, this is Alex Williams. We were just talking about you. And Jamey's like, hey Alex, I'm Jamey. And he sticks his hand out to Adam. And he's like, hey. And Adam's like,
that's so
man,
great.
I know you.
I met you 17 times.
And then
you do this every time.
But now let me go fast forward or rewind to the year 2010 or 11. We're on that Willie Nelson Throwdown tour. This is where it all began for me with the Hood and that whole dynamic. We're on the Willie Nelson Country Throwdown tour in like Pozo, California, at this wine vineyard. All day long, we're able to drink free carafes of wine.
Come on.
Well, Hood is drinking whole carafes of wine for free. And we get to the end, Willie's taking the stage, and the side stage is massive. So everybody's hanging out watching Willie Nelson play. And Hood is over there talking to this guy that works with Jamey. And, Adam's kind of animated, like when he's talking and stuff. And so
that's good, Adam.
Yeah. And so he's standing over talking, and I'm hanging out with our tour manager. I can't hear what's being said. But he's talking about that time Jamey walks over with that cup that I was talking about. He'd sip all day long. He walks over and he leans into Adam, and Adam kind of leans in. He straightens up. He looks around. He walks over to me. He goes, I ain't sure, but I think I just got pissed on by Jamey Johnson. I said, man, what did he say, Adam? I said, I was talking to TW, and I just said, man, how long you been working for this motherfucker? And Jamey, I guess, hears him, and he goes, I'll tell you one damn thing. You don't know me well enough to motherfuck me. We ain't on them kind of terms.
Jeez.
And I was like, damn. Adam, you should have ran back and hit him, man. And just messing with him. And Adam was like, you're right, I should. And he goes back over there. And Jamey's like, oh, you know how it is. I just can't go into a bar and have a beer in Alabama no more. Here, you want some of this joint? And everything was cool. So that's where it all starts, is in 2010. Then the thing happens with Alex Williams. And then later that same exact night in 2018 or 19, whenever the Alex Williams thing happened, I'm playing the Georgia On My Mind the Georgia Music Foundation show at the Ryman. Mm-hmm. And I was like, who'd y'all come hang out with me? Jamey's going to be there. And, it'd be good to hang out, and you'd probably enjoy yourself.
Same day of Alex Williams?
Same exact day.
Okay.
And so we're hanging out in the alley, and one of Jamey's crew members is out there smoking, and he goes, Brent, y'all seen Jamey? It's his birthday. He's upstairs hanging out with Whispering Bill Anderson. He'd love to see you, I know. And I was like, man, yeah, let's go up there. Hoodie, let's go up there. I don't want to go. He said, don't get it. But he comes up, and so we get up there, and Jamey's hanging out there. It's everybody having some birthday cake, Whispering Bill's in there. I walk in, he's like, Brent Cobb, I'm glad to see you here. This is Whispering Bill Anderson. Bill, this is Brent Cobb. Y'all ought to write together. Never even looks at Adam.
I love it.
And I know I do too. So
it probably tears Hood.
Oh, man.
Dude.
He takes it in stride, but yeah, you can tell it jumps all over. And so then Jamey offers me a slice of his birthday cake. And I'm like, oh, and I felt bad for Hood. So I just.
He ain't even looking at him.
Didn't even look at him.
Give him half your cake.
And so I declined, and Jamey's like, oh, he ain't gonna have none of my birthday cake. And to everybody in the room, I'm like, well, I'm drinking a Miller Lite right now. I appreciate it though. He said, Miller Lite and birthday cake, I invented that. And I was like, all right, I'll have a slice. So I get a slice of birthday cake, and he never even acknowledges Adam.
Oh man, that's so great.
So I get back home. That story doesn't end there, friends.
Oh, I'm so excited, man. This is a great story.
I get back home and I'm telling Lane, my wife, about all this because, she already thinks Jamey is omnipresent and can't bust beer bottles with his eyes. And up to this point, we have not proven the opposite. And so I tell her about all this, and she goes, you know what it is, babe? And this is we're just like having a, stony late night conversation on the back porch after the kids have gone to bed. Yeah. Half joking. She goes, it's that, here's what I think. And this is going to sound crazy, but we were being funny. Yeah. But she's like, I think Whispering Bill is like, he's like, because he's so nice, but really he's the country music devil. Yeah. And Jamey is a disciple.
I can see it with the comb over.
And he's like, and she says, and you're still young and impressionable, and they can still get you. But Adam's old and and I'm like,
too far
and we laugh and it's hilarious. Yeah. The very next morning, I wake up and I open my phone. Jamey he'll send me random pictures of just randomly every so often with no text. Okay. The very next morning is a picture. He sent me a picture, and you remember the picture of Johnny Cash giving the camera the finger? It's like a little statue, a little mini statue of that. And right beside him is a book that looks like the Bible that says the Country Music Bible. And I was like, you have no idea how relevant this is right now, Jamey. And he never responded. Anyway, he's always been amazing to me. He has helped me through some hard times.
Man,
I love that Joker.
I'm
Poor
speechless,
Hood.
dude.
That's a great story.
I am a massive Adam Hood fan, more than I mean, I love Jamey, dude. I love what he does. But man, when you talk about coming home from California,
dude,
in a brand new
pinstripe suit. I know the
crisp, clean 20s down in my cowboy.
Which album was that on? I don't even know. Hold
on, let's there's another verse.
Oh, that's right. I can't remember it.
I'm gonna hold her tight and kiss her. Tell her just how much I miss her. 'Cause the stars that shine in Hollywood don't shine that bright to me.
What is it?
And the stars around the Cajun moon are all I want to see.
Oh, man.
Dude, that's disgusting.
You should go back. There's still videos available, like online, that Beth Brinker did for that Country Throwdown tour. And there's one of Hood. And he's, man, he was funny on that thing. Those were some wild days. And he would sleep all day. And he had just rolled out of the bunks. And Erin Enderlin is on there. And she's talking about she had went to George Jones University. And Adam shows up and he's like, "Is that a real place? Like, do you learn like perfect preacher hair?" and then he does a George Jones impression, which that end of that the way he does that run reminds me of some George. You know, that dude's George Jones impression is one like you've never seen. He's incredible. He's
an absolute beast.
He's the real deal, man.
I mean, through and through.
I know, man. Hood's been doing it for so long. Yeah. That's why I make the half joke that it's only taken me 20 years to get to the bottom of my career, and I'm just glad to be here. but Hood, man, that dude's been doing it so long, man. And he's just been good the whole time. I remember the first little run we ever did. We were prepping for the Throwdown tour, and we went on a short, like 2 or 3 week run together. And we were buddies, but I didn't know his whole catalog. And I was like, man, well, I'll write about this, well, I'll write about that. And then I started listening to his whole catalog. He's got like 3 songs about any subject that you could ever, and they're all great.
I would love to just roll through that dude's catalog.
That was my favorite part of producing that Harder Stuff album was I went through, I mean, I don't even know, like 500 Hood songs, and it was awesome. All work tapes.
Yeah, I love Countryist, man. I love, I just think
Buzzes Like Neon.
Oh,
so good.
He, what was, she's always in the mood.
Oh yeah, ain't that the way? Ain't that how love's supposed to do?
Don't that sound like love to you?
Yeah, so good, man.
Yeah, if you don't know Adam Hood, man, go on a deep dive and just listen to everything. Everything's good.
It's so good.
Let's talk about your Shine on a Rainy Day, man.
Mm-hmm.
What debut major label album, Grammy nominated? What does that feel like?
I mean, it was kind of it felt amazing, but it was also I had quit touring for like 2 years. I didn't know if I'd ever pick it up, so it was unexpected, and I had no expectations.
Okay,
when we made that album,
which is probably the best way to be. Which everybody's got some expectations of what he wants it
but
to
at
be.
That time, it was totally like this. Like I got nothing to lose. I don't, I'm being a daddy now, and like I hadn't toured in 2 years anyway. No pressure, And so we just went in and Dave. He'd been in town for a few years. He'd done the Southeastern and he had done the Sturgill stuff. And he had already recorded the Traveler album, but the Traveler album had not blown up like it did. So it was a cool time for Dave because he had this little basement studio at his house in Green Hills. And we'd gotten together he asked me to be a part of that Southern Family album that he did right before that. And that's how we sort of got back together in the artist producer capacity. And so I went over there to Green Hills. Lila was running around the studio, and I had a bunch of songs to choose from. Yeah. And so,
where'd y'all cut Green Hills?
It's at his just little house studio. Gotcha. And it was amazing, man. We cut that whole album in like 5 days.
Oh, that's awesome.
And had Jason Isbell, y'all's cousin.
Yeah.
I'd like to say that when you refer to Isbell in Country Come Back to Town, that you're actually talking about me.
I'm talking about y'all.
I knew you were.
Yeah, for sure.
I thank you for doing that, for putting us in there.
We appreciate what y'all done for country music.
We're trying.
I'm going to pretend like you're not being sarcastic in that statement and say thank you.
I mean that.
I thank you. I appreciate it. Man. Appreciate what you've done for country music.
Yeah. Thanks. And so, we made the album, and then I didn't know what was going to happen.
Yeah.
And I was negotiating my own label deal in New York with Atlantic or Elektra or Dave's imprint, Low Country Sound. I was staying right in the middle of Manhattan. Me and Luke Combs had already met like 2 years before this. And I remember him sending me his SoundCloud link to the album that had Hurricane and everything on it. And I sent him the SoundCloud link to Shine on a Rainy Day. And I'd like to tell a story that mine was nominated for a Grammy. I didn't get that Grammy, but then we all know what happened to Luke's. He sent, pretty amazing, man.
Yeah, that's been That's a rocket ship for sure. Did you enjoy being out on tour with him last year and seeing me all the time?
Just incredible, man. I loved seeing you every day. Yeah, of course.
That was fun.
But it was, that is so wild.
I forget. And I think what that tour really did for me was remind me, like, that dude's like a wide mega star.
I got another funny, weird story. If y'all don't mind,
please,
I don't
dude,
want to
keep going.
During that tour, we had so I should give a little backstory on mine and Luke's relationship. In 2014, I had stopped touring. My daughter was born, was just trying to write for the market. It's the only time in my entire career that I didn't get nothing. I couldn't get a song.
Come on over, man. Come on over.
I think trying to do it.
I think we all met right around there.
Yeah,
around that time. And Andy Miller, who is from my hometown, I had talked to him into moving to Nashville. He hit me up one day, and he was like, man, there's this dude from North Carolina. He just moved to town. He's a singer. He's kind of got, some stuff going on, but he's a fan of your stuff, man. He just wants to, like, have a beer with you and ask advice. Would you be down? I was like, I don't know what I'll tell him, but I can drink some beer with him for sure. And so we went down to Brew House. It was Luke, and we hung out for about an hour or so. He's the only artist I ever saw at every level of, like, I dropped him off at his little brick apartment in Hermitage, and then saw. It's just been amazing and mind blowing to see. And then I feel like I can remember people talking trash when Luke started to have his rise, and he remembers too. There were so many people, man, that would not write with that dude.
Yeah.
At that time, and we never even wrote then. We just hung out, But he remembers the people also who did hang out, and that's why I even made it on that tour. But to go back to,
he's also a mega fan of yours too.
Yeah, he is
mega.
And Hood and all
he
all those
loves
cats.
Hood. He loves what y'all do. I think he respects the game and the way,
no doubt,
and the way that y'all play it.
He's gonna have Wilder Blue on this year.
They are killers.
Smoking. I produced that album. You know
man,
that.
I wish he
I'm so proud.
I knew you did, man. I knew you did.
I tried to get Luke to co-produce it with me, but he's too busy.
I want to write with that guy, but he writes all the stuff by himself.
Zane, you talking about?
Don't he write all by himself?
I guess, yeah, he does. He's a really great writer, and man, they're all engineers in that band.
Oh, really?
And it was. I'm proud of that album. I'm proud that they even considered me being a part of it.
Good, dude.
It was. It's hard, when you're in a room with a bunch of. I don't even know what I'm doing.
I do know. I know exactly what you're talking about.
But I want to tell you this story about being on the Combs tour. We're in Des Moines, Iowa, and we had that day off there. Me and Danny Boy walked down to this restaurant for breakfast, and then we decided to go over to this little convenience store after breakfast and we're going to get some tobacco or something. And we walk in, and in the store, the lottery tickets, they have a Luke Combs lottery ticket.
Right.
And I'm like, well, we got to get a couple of those.
Yeah.
And so we get Luke Combs. I mean, the dude's got his own lottery tickets. It's wild.
Indeed.
And so we get us a couple lottery tickets, and we walk out, scratch that off. And we had this really great Mexican restaurant in Des Moines, and I might have spiced it up a little too much that morning.
Yeah.
And we're on the walk back, it's about a quarter mile, and I got to get to the hotel as fast as possible. And I look up at the billboard, and there's Lainey Wilson on the billboard, and showing her was it wine or she's got something that she's promoting.
Stella.
Yeah.
Stella Art, yes.
I was like, man, everybody out here doing some big shit. This on this tour. I was like, I'm about to have
I'm about to light one.
I'm about to light one right here in Des Moines. We all doing some big shit out here.
That's so good. Yeah, it's been fun to watch her too.
It's really amazing.
That thing is
amazing, man.
It's gone nuts. Yeah, for sure.
I mean, those two, and I mean, it couldn't happen to two of the most real people.
Absolutely.
I see so much shit talking happening online about Lainey. It's crazy, man.
It's insane.
They're like, y'all don't know what y'all are even talking about.
No, and that's why
you gonna
just
talk bad about Lainey Wilson.
Just let them talk, man. Haters gonna hate.
Totally.
And she's gonna do her thing.
There was a CMT post that everybody was like, I think Lainey's done got too big for her britches.
What?
And there's all these comments. I was like, man, I commented under it because I was,
Get 'em,
you know,
Brent,
I
dude.
was like,
Get 'em,
I can't believe. I was like, how y'all going to talk about Lainey Wilson? You know, all y'all nice, good Christian folks.
Oh yeah,
And
country listeners.
it was wild, man. I love country listeners. I am a country listener,
Same.
but I don't like judgmental people that are.
I just don't
For
get,
no reason.
I think I don't understand why there's the need to
Just do your own thing. Why you
hate.
Why are you
Like,
hating? I know,
mean, do
man.
you think that your negative comment is going to influence?
Even if it did,
Do you think Lainey's going? Oh my gosh,
But you know,
this
man.
comment makes me want to rewrite the whole. Like, what?
But
what's
let's pretend that it did.
Okay,
though.
okay.
That's even worse.
Yeah,
Way
no doubt.
worse.
That,
You know
that,
what I mean?
That they're
Way
actually,
worse.
if they actually are trying to,
Man,
hoping she
why?
sees that, because there's no good that comes from
Well, it
that.
hurts my heart, man. I just wish I wish everybody could just be like, oh, you're not hurting anybody and you're just doing the best you can. Fucking, you're killing it.
Right.
You know, like
Right.
for everybody, that'd be nice.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Wouldn't that be great?
But you know,
Yeah.
like, what I run through my head all the time is like, as easy as it is to like just completely bash somebody, man, you can also build somebody up.
Absolutely.
That easy. It's that easy to build somebody up as well.
Totally, man.
And if you, once again, dude, old Thumper, man, he got it right, dude. If Thumper's mama or whoever told him, if you ain't got nothing good to say,
Don't say nothing at all, man.
dude,
Yeah.
I just don't.
I agree with you.
And I'm gonna tell you something, and we've said this a million times, and I'll say it again. Lainey Wilson's the same person she was the first day she showed up in this
Ain't
town.
no doubt.
Yeah.
And we know it because we were there the first week she showed up in this town, man. And she started, when she got signed at Sony, there she was doing the run, man. It was like, she talked like that, she walks like that, she sings like that, she writes like that.
She ain't changed
As
one
genuine as
bit.
she could be.
Combs the same way.
Same way.
It's amazing, man.
Same way, man.
That's what I mean. Well, that's the kind of ambassadors we need for country music, you know?
Ain't no doubt.
Bazillion%.
Ain't no doubt. Do you still, like, you just put out Southern Star in 23? Is that still the same mindset that you've had throughout your whole album and project?
It is, really. I was thinking about this last night. And slowly, I guess it's becoming not so much for my kids, probably, is where it's going. Now, it is just like, well, if I died, I mean, what am I going to put out, man? You know, what am I going to say? What's a universal collective consciousness need? What's everybody's hearts need? What I need?
Ooh,
if I need
amen.
it, then I know everybody's, you know, what is that thing? And how do I say it? The most original to me way that I would say it.
Sure, man.
And
I battle with that a lot, actually, what you're saying. In a way of like originality versus commerciality and understanding, right? Because we can go so deep into
totally
where we're from and deer ham cook-offs that somebody's going, what
the
are
hell
they?
does all that mean? I know. I do too, but I also, man, like Flannery O'Connor and like these great Southern storyteller novelists, like writers are, they all have their own voice. And I feel like what I'm trying to do, whether I'm succeeding or not, is yet to be discovered. But is to hone in right on whatever that I try to be universally personal on what
Great name for a record, by the way.
on the collective consciousness.
Sure.
But I feel like if I can, to me, it should make it more interesting if I do say it in my dialect.
Agreed.
And now, again, that could be a thing that, I mean, it might be years from now that people will be like, oh man, that was really well done. You know, up until that point, it'll be like,
Well, you know, all you need to do is die. And then they'll.
totally, man. And I know, which is the whole point.
Sure, man.
That's what we're talking about.
Absolutely.
Yep. Mhm.
Absolutely. So, all right. So let's get back to my original question that took us on this crazy detour. You moved back home. Was it just because you missed? I mean, what did Nashville get to you? Did Nashville do the Nashville thing it does?
No, man. Because, man, 2018 was like happening for me.
Yeah.
You know, we were on tour that whole year with Chris Stapleton. We had been on tour with him the year before. He had just exploded to like the commercial, you know, popular listener. And
Commercial, by the way, that's a new word that I would like to
that's
adopt.
a commercial.
It was.
I like that.
It's beautiful.
Did we
Asterisk.
We co-wrote that word.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, cool. I'll take
Commercial.
75% of it since
That's
I recognize
good,
it. But
man.
that means, to me, that means national commercial, which is literally what happened when he played that song, Chris Stapleton.
It exploded.
Commercial.
Man. There you go.
Well done.
So, it was an amazing year. My daughter was starting school. My wife was working full time, and I was fixing to really be touring a lot.
Yeah.
And so it was really more, we got to figure something out. And we're both from there. So we got family support.
Yeah.
And,
I'm sure you got plenty of family. I mean,
right.
my God.
And that was why we moved back.
Yeah.
And and it's funny though, because I had been here for 10 years, that year. And, which is the thing that you always hear.
Yep.
And so, we moved back. So I knew it'd be harder on me because I was like, man, and still right now to this day, last night, I got in at 2 o'clock.
Yeah.
I would get in on a Sunday evening. I'd be home before the sun went down. Be able to run around with Lila, my daughter, and then I'd hit the road again on Wednesday evening, make bus call by midnight, go out for 3 days, do that all over again.
Back home.
It was pretty amazing. And I'm not exhausted now. I definitely wasn't exhausted that year. It's a little tiring, but it's all. You can't say no to all this stuff,
No, man.
No,
it'd be different if
it.
like Luke Combs and Chris Stapleton weren't calling me to go tour with them.
Yeah,
I probably wouldn't be doing it.
Right. All right, we do a couple things at the end of the show, and this thing, it always flies by. We talk about it every time. It is flown by.
Too, man.
We do a couple things that we usually prepare before we ever turn the cameras on. We tell them so you have time to think about it. But now we're just kind of putting you on the spot.
I love that.
2 things.
The first thing we do is something called the one that got away. So it could be a fish, it could be a deer, it could be a cut, a single that was supposed to be the next thing.
Gotcha.
A girl, but you're married, so probably not a girl.
Or it could be as simple as
a hamburger.
that you
But you made me think, just because I'm going to see Jaron later on today too. One time, I've never had a single, I've had like 50 something cuts or something, but I've never had a radio single ever. And there was 2 times I feel like I had 2 that got away.
Yeah.
One was Tailgate Blues that Luke Bryan recorded.
Yeah.
Which on the biggest, that album, Tailgates and Tan Lines is the only song that had tailgates in the title.
Jeez.
And
feel pretty good about that.
Highway robbery.
Do you remember when they did that? There was like a storyline of videos, like they came out with the Country Girl Shake It. He meets girl, they hanging out partying. And then it's like, hope this night never ends. And then she leaves
Kinda
him,
do remember
kiss
this.
tomorrow, goodbye. And there was a whole storyline. What is the natural song to happen in this storyline where she leaves him and now he's alone, right?
Tailgate Blues.
Tailgate motherfucking Blues.
Absolutely.
Luke.
Right.
And
come on, Luke.
And so
Still time, Luke. Still time.
I'm saying, oh buddy. And and so that was one of them that got away. And then another one was the song Don't It that I had written with who did I write that with? I don't remember now. Oh, Chase McGill.
Oh, yeah.
It was Chase's first cut. And Kenny Chesney recorded it. It was like on the big revival album. I had just my wife had our first child.
Come on.
I'm like, here we go, man. This is, with newborns come blessings. Here
Baby spring number 1.
Here they come, baby.
Yeah.
And we're driving back up from being home in Georgia for probably the deer ham cook-off. And it's like 1 o'clock in the morning, and I'm driving us through Atlanta, downtown Atlanta, no traffic out. Lane and Lila are both asleep. Our dog's asleep, and listening to the Bull or whatever it is, Big 98 in Atlanta country station, and they go, "Here's a new one debut from Billy Currington called Don't It," and bam, they played this other song called Don't It, and Jaron was a co-writer on it. And I almost wrecked our whole family right there.
Yeah, I'm glad you did.
So I had 2 singles that got away, not on purpose. I'm just like, God.
Yeah, I know.
Lord, why?
Those are good ones.
It's a good life, though.
No, ain't no doubt, man. Ain't
Lights
no
are
doubt.
on, babies are fed.
Amen. All right, now we call it the gravorite, your gravorite country song, between greatest / favorite.
It can't be just greatest. I'm not explaining this again. It's called Gravorite. You get it. It's
Yeah,
your
I got you.
favorite, greatest country song. And so far, we've had no double O's.
Man, I mean, I'm gonna mess up. I'm gonna think about this later, and I'm like, yeah, I can't
No,
believe
you don't
I
have.
said.
Don't put too much stock.
No.
in it.
I'm just gonna name. I'm gonna name one right here, because I think it's one of the greatest recorded and written. The melody, the lyrics, everything. But that Guy Clark song, "Anyhow I Love You." Just you wait until tomorrow when you wake up. Anyway.
Play us a little bit. Can you play a little bit? Get you some right here.
I wish I had a dime. I wish I had a dime. I can't play it, man. I wish I had a dime. For every bad time. But the bad times always seem to keep the change. You've been all alone, so you know what I'm saying. And when you can run for the back door, whatever it is, don't. Here comes the good part. Just you wait until tomorrow when you wake up with me at your side and find I hadn't lied about nothing. And I wouldn't trade a tree for the way I feel about you in the morning. Anyhow, I love you. Don't listen to them chords.
Nah.
I don't matter.
The chords don't matter. And every day it gets just a little bit better. I can't remember all the words.
That's great.
It's so good. I'm messing with that.
No, that's
I don't
great.
do it
That's great.
justice.
You know,
My mic stands messed up.
you messing it up.
Probably. There we go. Brent, dude.
Man,
What's up, man? You got
y'all-
music coming? You making some more music? What's up?
Thank you. Yeah, man. I'm
Thanks,
going to
big dog.
go make an album right now. I'm producing a few projects. I want to tell you the title of one of them is so good. It involves 3 of your favorite characters and my favorite characters, but I can't do it right now. We've already talked about one of them today.
Okay.
It's gonna be good though, and then I got like several little things going on. Me and Hood's been working on something of his own, and yeah, I always got something. I
know.
keep
Gotta stay,
I
yeah.
keep
Well,
a bunch
that's-
of different
gotta-
irons and a bunch of different fires.
Yeah.
You going back on the road?
Yeah, we start tour in about a month, and no big tours though yet. No big offers that I'm aware of. Laney, Riley.
Come on,
fam.
There's still
I
time.
know y'all
It's
listening.
still time.
But yeah, man. I mean, doing the same thing that we all do.
Feel that, man.
Well, I'll tell you this: you do what you do, and I
And ain't nobody else do it.
I think it's commendable, but it's also honorable.
It's also just not by choice. It's like I really can't.
I know.
It's not ever me being like, man, I'm gonna do it my way.
sure, man.
I think that's what
Absolutely.
makes it like absolutely genuine, and I think that's what your listeners appreciate
Well,
the most
I
about what you
appreciate
do. And I don't think you're going to have to die for people to
I hope not.
recognize how wonderful
Yeah,
your stuff is.
I appreciate that.
And I mean that.
That's I like.
But if you do,
I like
for
what
10
Ray
grand, I'll
Wiley-
take you out.
Ray Wiley. I mean,
Just let me know.
Ray Wiley Hubbard said one time on Twitter, somebody said, Ray Wiley, man, I just love the way you never sold out. You did it your own way this whole time, all these years. You just never sold out. And I want to do it that way. And Ray Wiley responded with, nobody ever asked me to. So
That didn't make me a good enough offer.
that's how I feel, man. The moment somebody comes up,
I'm gone.
I'm gone, baby.
Oh, man, my whole life's
They
for
won't see
sale.
me no
dude.
more. I'll be having a deer ham cook-off every day.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Man, Mr. Brent Cobb, everybody. Y'all go check his stuff out, dude. For some reason, your records sound real good driving through the West.
Okay,
You know what else they
thanks.
sound good in? Driving through the rain. I noticed that this morning.
No kidding.
They sound real
Well,
good driving
thanks,
through the rain.
guys. I really appreciate y'all having me.
Hey, man, I'm a Brent Cobb fan. Everybody should be.
I feel the same way about y'all.
You're an inspiration for real. I
Thanks,
appreciate
brother.
you. Brent Cobb, everybody. Thank y'all
Hey.
for hanging out, and peace out. We'll see you next time.
Peace out.
See.
See you.